Good morning, friends. Brooke here from LegaSHE. You can see that I'm still dressed in my attire. I was about to head out for a run, and this prompted me to pause and say, I think it's time to talk about habits, and to talk about habits at a higher level than folks are used to talking about habits. Typically, when we talk about habits, we talk about the common layer, which is good habits and bad habits. But you're here with me at LegaSHE because you're trying to build a legacy for yourself, and that requires you to have a wealthy mindset. And a wealthy mindset is not at a common layer, it is up here. It is not here, it is here. So habits, both good and bad, have a deep downside. Habits have downside. Yes, they do. Anything ritualistic, anything with a habitual rhythm to it has a downside. And that downside is quite simply that anything you don't control controls you. So let's use an example of a good habit, a habit that you have worked so hard to establish for yourself, and how it can actually, due to its control over you, be very negative and cause you not to have a good outcome. And this is not common wisdom, because common wisdom is meant for the common person. And the common person is taught to do repetitive, habitual things to carry them from one habit to the next throughout their life. And then they wake up one day and they say, why am I unfulfilled? Why am I unfulfilled? It's because they drifted with habits through their whole life, even good habits, because they weren't in the driver's seat. They weren't owning their life. They were establishing habits to carry them like a wave through life, as opposed to making conscious decisions every day. You need to make conscious decisions every day to have a good life. Note that. So, I got dressed this morning. I woke up, I got dressed to go take a run. This is my running attire, and no makeup. You're getting the real Brooke this morning. No makeup, just my running stuff. And I looked outside, and then I went outside. I looked outside and I said, ooh, it's not really great right now in New York City. It's quite windy and it's raining quite hard. And so let's talk about mental flexibility and habits. When I establish a habit for myself, a good habit for myself, my good habit is running and going to the gym. I have tremendous flexibility around how that habit looks. So as someone with a wealthy mindset, tremendous flexibility around how the habit looks. So if I choose to change my mind about taking a run and instead go to the gym, that's still great, and I'm quite happy, and I'm not beating myself up or declaring that I'm lacking discipline. I'm not doing that. So we don't beat ourselves up ever with a higher order wealthy mindset over the form that good habit takes. We have tremendous flexibility around the form that habit takes. We just know that we need to move our body. So therefore, I'm going to move my body in some way. I also have set the goal. My discipline is, with flexibility, I'm going to work out sometime today. So even though my intention was to wake up and get going immediately, because I've allowed myself tremendous mental flexibility, and because the habit does not control me, I control it, when I look out the window and I see sideways wind and I see tremendous rain and I say, you know what? Forecast, I can check really quickly. Looks like it's going to be slightly better this afternoon. Do I want to run in the rain or no? It's a conscious choice. I make the decision. And it is not weak for me to say. It is never weak. These are the positive thoughts you need to be feeding yourself constantly. Beating yourself up in order to excel. I know there's a lot of people who try to use this line of reasoning in order to, get to better places. I'm going to shame myself, and I'm going to make myself commit, and I'm going to say mean things to myself because that's going to help me. No, it does not. It does not. Being kind, supportive, lovely, and flexible with yourself is what helps you get truly to that next tier. You may be able to cling up there. Oh, I'm going to cling as if I'm wealthy. But you're not actually creating mental habits, deep-seated, mental, flexible, positive, kind to self habits. So you're hanging on to that next level. You're trying to climb above the common level, but you're going to ultimately do yourself in because you haven't created an internal talk track that is supportive and flexible to yourself, that understands that habits can control us if we don't control them. So my gym/running habit, I decided to wait just a little bit. I'm going to go later, and that's okay. That is okay. And so now instead, what am I doing? I'm doing very productive other work on my list. And at some point today, and that point might be 9 p.m. tonight, again, flexibility. I am fully in control of my life. I never say to myself, it's too late. I have gotten off of planes after going, transatlantic and being on a flight for almost a day, gotten off of planes and went right to the gym because I had committed and I was able to do it, and I needed to run 7 or 8 miles. So now I'm going to do it. That's the time I have, and I feel fine, and I'm going to go do it. That doesn't make me a superhero. That makes me a disciplined, flexible person who is not rigidly designing my life and letting all the habits that I have created control me. True wealth mindset up here, not common mindset. Common mindset is create habits, stick to them rigidly, don't ever shift or else your life's going to be terrible. No, no. Zoom up, go up to the 30,000 foot wealth mindset. And what you will find is folks who just figure it out when they need to figure it out, and they're disciplined to themselves. But when things do go a little awry, they make positive choices. Sometimes they pause, even though they have this great built-in habit. They control the habit. The habit doesn't control them. So they go and do something else, and they come back, and they're still true to their discipline, but they don't have to do it that second. And if they get annoyed, angry, anxious, itchy, I didn't do my thing today, so now I feel terrible, that means your habit controls you, even if it's a positive one. So this is very nuanced. I am speaking to you the way that I like to be spoken to, which is I don't want to be spoon-fed. I want to hear the hard truth. So I'm going to tell you the hard truth very directly. You can handle it. If you want to be in the wealthy space, you need to be able to get the hard truth directly in your video, in your inbox. You got to get it, and you have to absorb it and not fight it. Just listen and choose what you're going to take from this. Pick and choose. You are an independent thinker. Pick and choose what you're going to take from this. And if you don't agree with all of it, that's okay too. If you choose to live your life differently than how I am speaking, I am judgment free, as you should be too. It's the best way to live your life. That is the wealthy way to live your life. Judge ye not all of the people around you. It's a terrible way to live. So, habits. Habits have downsides if they're uncontrolled, even the most positive of habits. Healthy eating, if you wrap yourself too tight around the axle of healthy eating and you cannot create any flexibility around it for yourself, so you become very anxious, overwhelmed, moody, angry if the options aren't available for you at that moment to eat healthy, right? You're going to a dinner and it's not perfectly orchestrated to your liking. If you let that seep in to your mind space and your thoughts, and you cannot roll with whatever is in front of you at that moment, well, then your healthy eating habit controls you. You don't control it, because you should always be able to guide this puppy, this bad boy here, to a better thought, which helps you create better feelings, which helps you stay in control of your life and your outcomes and create a wealthy mindset. It's quite straightforward once you see it. You can't unsee it once you've seen it. I hope you have a wonderful day, my friends. I am getting a ton of traction right now on TikTok as Big Sis Finance. LegaSHE.com remains my website. Please visit me there anytime. I'm actually releasing a mini course shortly. It seems to really be starting to stick, and I am happy to take the wisdom that I have built up over 20 years through teaching finance, through multiple finance degrees, through operating in finance, through building businesses in finance. I'm happy to take all of that wisdom and translate it into something bite-sized as best I can. The secrets to becoming wealthy as best I can. And if it resonates with you, fabulous, pop over to my website because that's where you'll see it shortly. In the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope that this is helpful to you. We're pulling away from common wisdom and we are moving up into fully being able to control our own destinies and our own lives. You are in the driver's seat. You are not a victim. You can do this. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.